Right, good morning, folks, and warm welcome to Realty Check. You know what we do here. Please make sure that even before I start introducing the session to you, please click the subscribe button, follow us. There's tons and tons of information that we pass on to you regularly. Today, we have a very special guest. And what we're going to do is to explore a little further, like what always we've done in the past. Get under the skin of real estate and see what's up there, especially for people who want to invest in Dubai, want to make a nice, neat, well-informed investment in Dubai. So today, to deepen that conversation, to understand a little about Dubai, we have a special guest. We have Gitti, who's come all the way from Kenya. She represents Pam Golding, which is such a reputed real estate organization. Globally, they are one of the most respected, in fact, if not the respected real estate broker based out of Kenya. They do a lot of local transactions, and they now have signed up with Damac to represent Damac in the Kenyan ground. So with that, without much ado, it's just an awesome privilege to introduce Giti Sennik to you from Pam Golding.
Jumbo Govind, Jumbo to all your viewers, how are you? And thank you so much for having me.
I love the way you said that. Jumbo, is it?
Yes.
That's what it means.
Yes, Jumbo means hello.
Hello.
In
Nice.
Swahili.
Nice. Swahili. Wow, there we go. That's a great way to kick off our conversation. I'm going to start straight out with one question. What brings you to Dubai? What brings you to Damac?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, we have partnered with Damac Properties of Dubai to bring Damac to the Kenyan market. And I'm here representing Pam Golding.
Right.
Happy to just, absorb the vibe of Damac.
Right.
Attended the launch yesterday for your Islands project.
Right.
And you have graciously invited me to have a conversation with you. So delighted to be here. Thank you,
The
Govind.
pleasure's all ours. The pleasure's all. We do these podcasts regularly, and I think this could be our first international podcast where somebody from abroad, one of our very important partners from abroad, have come graciously to our studio here, and this is perhaps the first conversation we are having with an international broker. We haven't done many, by the way.
Thank you. At Pam Golding, we pride ourselves on being first in many ways.
Right. Oh, that's brilliant. A great way to put it. Right. Okay. Conversation about Dubai. Why is Pam Golding looking at Dubai to be a very strategic partner? Before even I start sharing stats about Dubai and why Dubai is good, that's in our blood now.
Yes.
If you wake me up in the middle of the night and say, give me a speech about Dubai, I can go rambling endlessly.
Right.
Let's get it from you, your perspective first.
Well, anybody who is in the know, anybody who's been reading the papers, anybody who's been following Dubai on social media, we have got that sense of there's so much happening in Dubai, and not just in terms of the growth of the city and what the government is doing, but just the way property is booming and the way developments are coming up.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's a very attractive place
Absolutely
to
it is.
be in. And Kenyans are very shrewd and very sensible businessmen and investors.
Right.
So it's really good to bring them something that will be an asset and a benefit to them.
Well, that's brilliant. But what would specifically appeal to the Kenyan audience? I know you just mentioned they're very shrewd. So, there are a lot of things out there that are uploaded, sent into the social media stream. There's loads of information that's been passed on. What specifically do you think would help a Kenyan investor, serious one, to make an informed decision to invest into Dubai? What will motivate them?
I think numbers are really important to the
Great,
Kenyans.
good stuff.
They need full transparency.
Yeah.
They require safety for where they are investing their money.
Right.
Both in terms of the physical safety and the safety for their funds.
Right.
And all of that can be provided by Dubai.
Yeah. I think we'll start with safety as a parameter. Not sure how many people actually know, if you ever find monarchy perfected, Dubai is a shining example. The reason why I'm saying that is we have a leadership, His Highness, whose vision for Dubai, it just didn't start with him though. It started with his father.
Yes,
of course. His Highness Sheikh Rashid, the late Sheikh Rashid. He set up the whole momentum, and that we're enjoying the windfall gains, the fruits of that today.
Yes.
One of the things that Dubai propagates, and not just in speech and babble, but more in terms of practice, is we are a very peace-loving, and through peace we want to drive prosperity. So we don't want to compromise on one of these,
Understood.
right? We love peace, and that's the reason we don't find riots, revolts in this part of the world, because we just love to be here, live the life in Dubai, and work and focus. And through that peace that has been established, we now provide security to our residents. Numbeo, which is a crowdsourced index, puts Dubai at number 2, the safest city in the world. His Highness's article came out of the news, I think, a few months ago. 300,000 surveillance cameras integrated with AI technology just to keep the whole city connected. Right? It's not that people want to breathe over others' shoulders, but that the presence of this tech that we have used brings in a lot of security anyway. Right? Crime rates are the lowest, right? And that's, I'm sure, definitely something that a family who would want to move to Dubai, settle in Dubai, would look at.
Yes.
The security aspects is also well compounded by the laws that Dubai has put together. I think we have zero tolerance with crime.
I see.
And as much as we are zero tolerant with drugs and various other things. But having said that, it's not that it's a clamp to people's freedom. It allows people to live free. You must have already, you've lived in Dubai
Yes,
as well,
I
so
have.
you know Dubai
Yes,
much better. So that level of peace, prosperity, freedom, I think has given a perfect platform to establish Dubai as a very secure place. The laws bring in, to the hedge around keeping people safe. The law is fantastic here. Supports growth, supports prosperity, and keeps both businesses and families safe in this part of the world. I was telling my family, when I go back to India, I tell them, listen, if my daughter who's 20 years old, will I dare to send her out for a late evening and back if I'm in India? I'll be sitting at the edge of my couch, biting off my nails, anxiety peaking, waiting for her to arrive.
And tracking her on Find My.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In Dubai, I don't think I have ever even thought of my daughter when she's out late.
I see.
So that's the safety and security that is a key factor for people to come in. Now, what is this doing for people for real estate? I mean, it's very important that you know.
Yes.
Until about 2 or 3 years ago, you had individuals, businesses, people who wanted to come and invest in Dubai, explore, dabble with Dubai, and then just go back to their bases. That's changing.
Right.
We have a lot more families coming in. Right? One of the trends that you will see is we are seeing 2 beds and 3 beds increase in sales and volumes. And it's not just your 1 beds. 1 beds was a key factor to tell you people are investing heavily.
Yes.
They invest, hold, put it into an Airbnb model, short let, long let, make the monies, ROIs are taken care of. But now you see 2 beds and 3 beds in the uptick. Also telling you that people now find Dubai a safe place. I can bring my families and settle in. So just to give you a glimpse of what we mean by safety and security in Dubai. So I'm sure people in Kenya, I mean, due respect to every country in the world, they would definitely find this to be just super safe.
Yes.
I mean, not pointing fingers at any government, by the way. That's not why I'm here. But to let you know that compared to any other country, whether you go to the US or the UK, it doesn't matter where you go. You come to Dubai, the sense of satisfaction, of security and peace that you enjoy is just subliminal sometimes.
Yes.
If you go to the UK now, you're wearing an expensive watch. I dare you to walk broad daylight through London. You get mugged,
Okay.
right? You get botched, you get your watch stolen.
It's true.
And with any blunt force that they can apply,
Yes.
they will snatch it. Yes. But you come to Dubai, we don't care. I mean, people have kept their wallets, their phones in their taxis and cars, and we've gone off, and then we get a call back from RTA saying, listen, you've dropped off
Yes.
your wallet, and,
Yes, yes.
and it's safe.
Yes.
I'll tell you what happened once, and this is a personal example, and just this conversation should tell you how safe Dubai is. We went to a mall, a fairly large mall. We came in a taxi, and I think my wife dropped her phone in the taxi left.
Right.
We didn't know the number, and we didn't bother to take the receipt, nothing. So we went to the mall and said, listen, I think the taxi that dropped us off, I accidentally left my mobile phone. And they take us into a surveillance room. Trust me, the whole place is plastered with television screens. They've got hundreds of cameras. They pull out the camera, get the number, call the taxi guy acknowledges that the phone's there, and then you go pick it up in the evening.
That's amazing. That's very comforting as well.
Yeah.
For people who live here and obviously visitors as well.
Absolutely.
That, their belongings, even if lost, can be found.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for that, Govind.
Pleasure's all mine. Pleasure's all mine. Anything else that you would want to know about the economics of Dubai? What else do you think would be parameters you want to consider?
Perhaps we can shed a little bit of light on, as I'd mentioned before, the investment aspect and what they can expect in terms of capital appreciation, ROI, and most importantly, the safety of any money that they put towards a development. I know that there's RERA and you've got lots of rules and regulations.
Yep.
So perhaps a little bit of light on that?
Of course we can. I mean, let's start with the security of monies. Now that we are anyway propagating the security aspect of Dubai, investors will bring their cash in. I mean, one of the key things that they want to make sure that their money that they invest is kept safe or invested well.
Right.
Now, if you invest into real estate and you're buying an off-plan property, which is where we are today, because Dubai's demand is outstripping supply by many times over, anyone who wants to invest and buy a unit, RERA rules clearly have prescriptory methods where any developer will have to take that money and put into what's called an escrow account.
Escrow account.
An escrow account is combined held by the government, which is DLD in one side, and held by a bank of their choice, which is usually a public-owned bank, with the funds, the sovereign funds in it. So the money is absolutely safe. And the beauty about escrow is linked to completion of the project.
I see.
Okay. So then you can ask this question, in whose favor will it play out if there were delays? Okay, there's another question we have to ask. It doesn't help the developer. In fact, it pinches the developer hard, because if he doesn't go phase-wise, stage-wise, as per his blueprint,
right,
and he doesn't finish a certain stage, he cannot take out the money from the escrow account. He has to complete that phase of construction before he can take his money out.
I see.
And what is even better is most of the money that the developer needs to take out can only happen once 80% of the construction is done. And then when handover is done, that's when he can actually take his money out. And then he still needs to leave behind a percentage or more, to take care of your defect liability period and the warranties that a developer must give.
I see.
That's how it is managed.
Okay.
Now, an escrow account simply means that you put in 20% at least of the capital and the cost of your total project. So if it's a 700 million project, 140 million goes straight into escrow.
This is from the developer.
Correct.
And any payments that come from the buyers is also going into that escrow account.
Escrow account.
Okay.
It's tightly managed. It's tightly managed in a way that the whole process of payments, yes, the responsibility is the developer to make sure the money goes in.
Right.
But DLD has a very strong auditory team that audits the money that's coming in and the money that's paid out. In fact, all our commissions for our brokers is also paid out of the escrow account now.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how tightly managed this whole money business is for real estate.
Thank you.
So this happened because at the back of 2008, when we did have a meltdown, Dubai was in the early stages of real estate. We didn't have that many laws and rules to govern and guide. But now with these rules in place, all those fly-by-night operators, the small-timer brokers, small-time developers have all been eliminated.
Okay.
So what you now find is creme de la creme.
Right.
The best of the developers who have good pockets, who care for the clients, who now develop projects.
And who've been performing.
Absolutely.
Since 2008
Absolutely.
And before 2008.
Absolutely. I just wanted to mention as well, Damac has captured a sizable share in the community market. The news, I think I was reading from Arabian news, I think yesterday, they came out by saying, quarter one has seen brilliant appreciation again. We clocked about 37 billion in the first quarter.
Right.
Yeah. And what we're seeing in that 37 billion is 21% appreciation of the assets in Damac Hills.
Congratulations.
That's fantastic.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
That is wonderful.
That's phenomenal appreciation.
Yes.
It also tells you how matured communities, which can truly serve the need of a cross-section of clients,
yes,
whether they're families or otherwise, truly helps the value of a certain asset to appreciate organically. So that's a testament to it.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's the escrow account. Now, in terms of safety and security, escrow is one of the aspects. Then you also have the RERA code system We do have um, our, our jurisprudence on setting up very strong laws that protect the investors' investments and money, right? Because he's got an interest in the economy. And the government has put special codes for RERA,
I see.
right? Where it's addressed very quickly. There's no pending pileups. And the government proactively addresses these challenges as well. The RERA index has now come out. It's a phenomenal tool, by the way. RERA index tells you what will be the lower, mid, and top tier range or bandwidth of rentals that somebody can charge you.
That's true.
And it's area-wise, geographically kind of proportioned, and the whole tool's empowered by AI today.
That's amazing. That was something recent, and I think that
Yes.
gives investors an idea
Yes.
exactly what to expect in the
Yes.
long run as well.
Yes. And the beauty is, because it's AI-driven and there's so much of data which DLD already has,
Yes.
it sits into the AI platform and gives your investor class or somebody who's a renter a very clear guideline of how much of rent you are expected to pay and whether the landlord's asking you for more or less.
So a lot of transparency now
Very
in these
transparent.
renting
Very, very
transactions,
transparent. Very transparent.
which is good for, like you said, both the renter and the landlord.
Exactly. We're also mentioning about ROIs in Dubai. There are two parts to the ROI story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first story is our population has increased. I remember 2 years ago, we were about 3.6 million. Trust me when I tell you this. By second quarter, government says we will touch 4 million.
That's a
Right?
huge jump
It's phenomenal
in population, yes.
Phenomenal jump. We are seeing, and this is the government reports that came in, close to about 190,000 more people coming into Dubai, came into Dubai last year.
Okay,
So the numbers swelled up.
yes.
And since 2018, this is the significant increase in population Dubai has ever seen. Huge jump in population. Now, this population, as I was mentioning to you, are not just individual investors. This is the family class, business class. We had a massive exodus of billionaires and millionaires who moved out from the UK, from China, from India, from various other parts of the world into Dubai last year.
Yes.
Many more people calling it home. That's also obviously driven up the residential prices.
Yes.
We are also seeing an uptick in what we call as the high-priced projects and real estate options. Your boutique real estate investments have gone up as well. We closed our transactions with about 190,000 units last year. That's about 33% increase over 2023 compared to
Wow.
2024. 2024 was a bumper year for us because you see real estate transactions going up. This year, with population touching 4 million, we will still need supply of homes across the section.
Yes.
Not just your top 20% of your boutique investments. You would still need your mid-tier between 2 million, 3 million category. You would still need your affordable housing as well, which is
Right.
your 1.5 million and under. And we are seeing a supply of all this. About 70,000 homes are going to be added into the market this year.
Okay.
Right? And that still is just a drop in the ocean for the kind of demand that we have.
Right.
Imagine this, population going up, right? Automobile companies have recorded about 30% increase in sales,
Right.
right? So you put all that together, you'll see that Dubai is now becoming a city that is attracting serious talent,
Yes.
families, and businesses to come and invest. 26 free zones in Dubai.
26 free zones. Wow.
It makes your life so easy. You want to start a company, you can do it in about 24 hours.
So ease of business
Absolutely.
is a benefit as well.
Absolutely. The government's made it so simple that you can just come, log onto a portal, put your documents in. You don't even need middlemen. The way we are adopting AI and platforms are being enriched with AI, it just makes life so simple.
Right.
And Dubai's outlook has always been this. Bring the people, make it easy for them to live, give them the options, and they will love Dubai.
Exactly. It's in their best interest to have people who come here not struggle to set
Yeah,
up business,
absolutely.
to find homes, and to make this their long-term home.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other aspects was inflation as well. I mean, people were concerned, Dubai is becoming an expensive city. Yeah, but the same 1 million that you would buy maybe a small little condo in New York, you can still afford to buy a decent sized 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom in Dubai even now.
Or even a villa.
Or a villa as well, right? I mean, depending on which part of Dubai or the UAE you buy from, but it's affordable. You can still buy 1 million US. Definitely, you can buy a very decent 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom townhouse in a very good locality, in a very good community.
Yes.
So that's available. How is Dubai kind of counterbalanced this inflation problem? I think it's a very important question to ask. Our current inflation for 2025 is projected at about 2.8%.
Okay.
How are we managing it? I mean, sometimes what's not a blessing might play out in the favor of a few countries. UAE is blessed with oil,
Yes.
right? But oil prices have softened.
Yes.
It's going to further soften to $73 a barrel this year.
Okay.
What does that mean to Dubai? It simply means that your cost of transportation drops. It's already dropped by 10%. It was 2.71, it was about 2.8, it's dropped to about 2.7 per litre now in Dubai already.
Okay.
Now that obviously means when cost of transportation drops, your food, beverages, essentials prices come down.
Okay.
So we've controlled that. That's a very important aspect. The second, yes, housing with now the supply coming into the market, that's going to cool off a bit. So you're going to see inflation at check now at about 2.8%. That simply means that you will still have more income to save compared to rest of the world.
Right.
And plus, remember, if you are a Dubai resident, you're not paying taxes.
Yes.
You don't pay income tax.
Yes,
as
that's
well.
true.
So the whole Dubai story is panning out. Again, I want to take it back to saying, well, this didn't happen by magic. This is not like putting all metal pieces into a burner and then just came out an Airbus.
Yes.
A lot of things have gone into it. And it started with a vision of His Highness.
Yes.
And his vision was not for a year or for 2 years. His vision was to look at another 30 years for Dubai. Which country can say that they have a plan till 2100?
Not many.
Yes, that's how forward-looking we are. And then we're delivering milestones, by the way. That's how focused we are in terms of delivering milestones. Another important aspect is, when Dubai had a Jebel Ali port, the Rashid port. Rashid port even today is the oldest port in the world. It's still lifting volumes of a few metric tons. It continues to be the hub for Dubai, which is the oldest port. When that port was still underutilized, Sheikh Rashid, His Highness, the late Sheikh Rashid, His Highness's dad, he went up to Jebel Ali, looked at the ocean and said, let's build another port here. And people thought he was crazy. People are saying, why would you want to build another one when you already have one which is still underutilized?
Right.
But that's how far the vision's gone. The logistics corridor that's now coming up is going to connect Dubai South, the world's largest airport, the manufacturing district, straight to Jebel Ali Port. They don't have to go all the way to Sheikh Rashid. You see how the vision's panning out?
Yes.
It's just brilliant how Dubai is turning out to be a metropolis of such grace and such change at that pace, and the vision that's unfolding itself to reveal the benefits of being in Dubai at this time of our century. Great benefits to be in Dubai.
Thank you for that, Govind. This is very important for people to hear and assimilate and then take action upon.
Absolutely.
And that will result with opening the Kenyan market for Dubai investment.
Absolutely. And one of the aspects that as you speak to your clients, one big aspect is Dubai is now becoming a tourism hotspot.
Yes.
If you look at our GDP, trade and commerce obviously takes a big chunk. Then you have real estate, and then you have tourism.
Right.
About 12%, I think, if my numbers are not wrong, I'll have to verify that, but at least 12% of our GDP is tourism. That tells you a story.
Yes.
It tells you that your Airbnb shortlet models are also an amazing thing to look at in a place like Dubai. And Dubai's entertainment business hotspots are distributed. It's not like in one city or one place.
Right.
It's well distributed, which simply means that it doesn't matter which landscape you invest in real estate. It still gives you the options of ROIs.
Right.
Currently, our ROIs in Dubai is anywhere between 8 to 9%. Certain localities, provided you cherry pick your units in certain areas. And it can be as low as, let's say, about 5 to 6% in more matured areas like your Business Bay.
Right.
And then your shortlets can be anywhere between 10% to up to 15%, in some cases 18%. Right? These compounded with your low inflation rates, no taxes, safety, and Dubai's governance and its ability to allow businesses and investors to come and invest and work freely in the business environment that we provided. The climate is just brilliant for investors to come and invest.
Thank you for that. I really liked how you rounded up all the aspects you've been discussing and have put it very nicely in a conclusion.
Pleasure's all ours. We live and breathe Dubai. Been here for many, many years. I've seen how Dubai has changed and grown. This is my city.
And you've done the city proud.
Thank you.
Today with all this very passionate information that you have shared with us.
It's a joy. It's a joy.
I think there is a lot of interest in the golden visa.
Yeah.
Just ease of travel. A lot like the Kenyan people do enjoy having a second property.
Right.
One sort of overseas.
Right.
A lot of them are thinking of sending their children this way to study with the US and the UK, Australia really clamping down on immigration and also, how open Dubai is. And they are also like revving up their education sector, right?
Yeah, they are.
I just read the other day, Harrow School of London is coming. The private school is coming to Dubai.
Yes.
So I'm having a lot of conversation with friends and family whose children are younger,
Right.
who are actually not looking at the traditional educational destinations like the US, Canada, the UK.
Correct.
So the golden visa and the investment would really tie up nicely
Right.
with education
Right.
as well. That could be one aspect. The investor could be one aspect.
Absolutely.
And then the holiday second home could be one.
Yeah.
Those would be the three, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Golden visa is, I think, the greatest and the most powerful visa Dubai has ever introduced. Me being here for these many years. Golden visa is not just a 10-year visa. What people don't realize is what does that 10 years mean to you? 10 years simply means that it gives you the freedom to be in Dubai, operate in Dubai with all the freedom you need.
Yes.
You don't have to be necessarily in Dubai for that many months as a compliance norm for immigration. You can be in and out of Dubai whenever you want. Gives you the freedom, therefore, to establish your business, run your business. Secondly, it allows you sponsorships at various levels. You can sponsor employees if you are in an investor visa on your own. You don't have to necessarily wait. Again, with now businesses becoming fully owned, you don't have to necessarily have a local sponsor.
Yes.
Right? It allows you the freedom. Second, your children. I think that one of the greatest privileges that you have in a golden visa is you can actually sponsor your children even if they are slightly grown, slightly older. You can still support them. You can still sponsor them. That gives you the freedom. You want to have a driver, you want to have a maid. You just don't have to worry about this and all the, the going through the rigmarole of your government procedures and payouts and documents. And you can just do that when you have a golden visa. It allows you so much of freedom. And golden visa is not just one category. Yes, investing into real estate is.
Yes.
And it's been simplified so much now.
It has.
See, if you're buying a property worth 2 million, which is more or less the norm now in Dubai, which is more or less the average pricing, and you've done a down payment, you qualify for it.
Yes.
Right? You qualify for golden visa. Right? Then obviously it's done by the government, and obviously you've got to go through your KYC and everything else. But once a visa is given to you, that's like solid 10 years.
Yes.
You don't have to even think about renewals for the next 10
renewals
years.
and tests
Absolutely.
and filling out of forms, etc. Which, of course, again, not complicated.
Yeah.
But you don't have to repeatedly do it for
Absolutely.
5-6 members of your family.
Exactly. So that's another privilege.
Okay.
Otherwise, if children are here on a 2-year renewal visa, which is usually the case, the problem is if you are on a renewal visa, children can only be on a student visa.
Right.
Because you can't sponsor them beyond a certain age.
Right.
Now, if a student is on a student visa and if the student finishes education, that's the end of the visa.
Right.
You'll have to either find a job or you have to be sponsored by somebody else.
Right.
But you can't be here without a proper visa. The golden visa eliminates that problem immediately.
Okay.
Right? Which means even if your children are studying here, you're traveling, rest assured because they're on your golden visa sponsorship, they're safe.
They can save and they're safe to stay, and then they have the opportunity and the time to perhaps find employment, take a little bit of time to do that.
Absolutely.
Without having the stress of having to leave the country, apply from overseas, etc.
Correct. Excellent. We do have a nice sizable Kenyan population here, by the way.
Yes, because also
You're one of them.
Yes, our family's been here since 2000. Also, because Kenyans speak such refined English,
Yeah, they do, yes. Yeah.
They are always very attractive for the Middle Eastern employers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're well trained,
the
they're
talent
well
pool,
spoken.
you mean,
Yes.
for them to hire. Absolutely
Yes.
agree.
Just Kenyans are just such amiable and happy-go-lucky
Oh, yeah.
and easygoing. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just such a pleasure and joy to be around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And service excellence is just in their blood.
Nice.
You were here. You were with
was
us,
there, I was there.
Govind.
Yeah.
You experienced all aspects
Absolutely.
of
Absolutely.
Nairobi. Though it was a short visit, I'm sure you were able to read
Yeah.
the vibe
Yes.
of Nairobi and
Absolutely.
Kenya.
There's a certain zest. I think that's typical of the African zest that you
Yes.
find when you step into to
Yes,
Kenya.
yes.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. That's pretty much about our outlook on Dubai now, currently. 2025 looks even more promising. We might not see the peaks that we saw in the past because, the markets are maturing, which is good to know. Supplies are coming in. And that's great signs for people to even enter at this point. So there's nothing called a peaked price point. It's a great time for people to enter even now.
Yes.
And Dubai now becoming such a bustling metropolis, attracting people from all walks of life to come and stay, invest, and be in Dubai. The opportunities are still there for real estate and to invest into real estate.
That was a really important comment because I did want to ask you, what of those people who miss the peaks? Is there still investment ROI to be made?
Yeah.
Is there still capital gain to be made
Absolutely.
in the next 5 years?
The Edelman Trust Barometer. When you like numbers, I'm going to give you another number.
Okay.
Edelman Trust Barometer actually is a barometer that measures the trust levels that people have placed in a certain government.
Right.
Dubai is in the top 3.
Okay.
It's ranked in the top 3 because the confidence that the citizens and the expatriates who have in the government who's managing it. As long as we have a government that's proactive, bringing out the infrastructure that is required, attracting more people to come and live in Dubai, population increasing at the pace that we are seeing, 3.5-4% every year, and tipping that 4 million mark this year, you will still need enough housing to be provided. With businesses coming in, it's going to get even more interesting. Now people will need business offices, commercial space.
Yes.
All that's coming in. The beauty about Dubai is they've invested their money in the right place. Infrastructure first. Bridges, roads, connectivity. I mean, Elon Musk was here, signed up with RTA. He's going to have an underground road system that can actually take cars, I think about 130 miles an hour or something like that. And is going to reduce your traffic overboard as well. So Dubai is thinking futuristic. And the good thing is they invest where they need to invest.
So Dubai has a vision and then there's also execution.
Absolutely.
It's not just
very strong team.
talk.
Execute, yes.
Which is
Absolutely.
great.
Absolutely.
Govind, can I ask one very important question,
Yes.
which I'm often asked,
Yep.
is the bubble going to burst?
Okay. UBS is a great place to go check what's called the bubble index.
Okay.
Property to income ratio, property to rent ratio. These are 2 ratios that people usually measure. And as long as, our income levels, our per capita spend is as high as it is today, Dubai is still fairly valued.
Okay.
So if you go back to the UBS index, you'll find Dubai is still fairly valued. Gone are the days when, we live in a bubble which we are always anxious, the size of the bubble and how and when it's going to burst. I think Dubai has done fairly well to dissipate that pressure from the economy.
Okay.
And one thing that Dubai has done to distribute that load is to diversify its economy. We're not just focused on oil anymore.
Yes.
We have such a diversified economy. We've got content, by the way, digital content. Did you know we had something called the 1 Billion Summit that happened last year?
They want to send the right message out through the right channels, which is right now social media.
Correct.
So I think there was something like Nas Daily.
Yeah, Nas Daily.
So he had like a huge event here last year, isn't it? He had also invited content creators to come, brainstorm.
Correct. Regularly. They come here regularly and they have varied topics that they sit and discuss and brainstorm about. Dubai is becoming a think tank city.
Think tank city.
Creating content as well. That's another economy we've added. So we are distributing ourselves. AI tech. I think digital platform itself, the digital highways that Dubai is building, that's going to be another economy in itself.
Amazing.
Cryptocurrency,
Crypto, yes.
right? So very diversified. So that also tells you how our economy is well balanced now. So we are far, far away from that bubble burst,
Okay.
to be honest, Gitti.
Okay.
Yeah, you can rest assured have a very, very strong, confident conversation with investors who want to come and invest in Dubai.
Because, generally every 4 or 5 days you're like, oh, but the bubble, it cannot be sustained. And I'm so glad that you're actually giving numbers and you're actually giving indexes and you're actually, giving concrete information which can be verified.
Absolutely.
For anybody who's in doubt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with the strengthening US dollar, we are pegged to the dollar. That's a game changer for us as well.
Yes, of course.
Give or take, no matter what trade tariff problems and trade wars that you see, because we are pegged to the dollar, we are very resilient. We're very, very strong.
And it hasn't changed in years. It hasn't, has it? I think 20 years it's been the same.
Absolutely. While the US government has imposed tariffs across the globe, I think UAE and I think Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are the only exceptions where it's only 10% tariff.
Okay.
But all the other countries are 20%, 30% and above. China has gone out of the roof.
Yes, of course.
That only makes it even more stronger for us to continue our relationship with the US and be a very resilient economy.
Okay.
Plus, we have what's called a commercial protection agreement that's signed, economic protection agreement, CEPA, which we've signed with, Dubai signed, the UAE signed with 27 different countries.
Okay.
That also safeguards Dubai's interest. That also tells you why our inflation is in check now. We want to make sure that the only way to get into protectionism, every government's becoming protected of its own turf. To avoid protectionism, you need to have bilateral discussions, right? You need to have interdependability as part of your philosophy as a government. And Dubai has tons of it.
And also, I think Dubai is taking center stage with a lot of, the mediations that was happening in the Middle East.
Absolutely.
They're a voice that is being recognized, heard, and, they're able to get those deals done.
Correct.
Because of their position.
Correct.
And because they themselves lead their country with so much integrity.
Correct.
So that's amazing as well.
Yeah.
They're becoming a big player politically.
Correct. Look, so the question about, but it's risky, you have your risks. Show me one country where there are no risks.
Of course, nobody has a crystal ball.
Yeah. And we have fewer risks to grapple with. We have fewer demons to fight. We don't have political imbroglios. We don't have those challenges to, first of all, fight.
Yes.
Government is so strong, stable, supportive. Economy is well diversified. Proactive government investing in infrastructure. Less bureaucracy. Technology helps you to finish off whatever you need to do, registrations, settling in, getting your licenses done, making life easy. All that put together.
I can just give you a personal example. My husband's here. He just realized his UAE residency was expiring next month.
Right.
Within 48 hours, he's picked up his ID today.
Oh, that's it. That's how we work. Hope you have enough information now.
I
to go back to Kenya, charmed
I am
by Dubai.
I am such a Dubai person. I just happen to live in Kenya.
I know. But the good thing is, Dubai being literally the center of the universe, flying in and out of Kenya is also
so easy. 4.5 hours. You leave at such a reasonable time. You get here at a reasonable time. You don't lose the day.
Absolutely.
You don't lose the night.
Absolutely. Dubai is a dream come true.
A lot of her peers are really re-strategizing their lives and thinking, do we want to be in the West when we can be so close to home, we can be where it's so diverse and so acceptable.
Correct.
It's so integrated.
Absolutely.
This community here. There's
it is.
every sort of nationality here and they're all seen and heard.
Correct.
So there's a huge, I think, there's a huge revolution coming that way.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Our way. This way, sorry.
Absolutely. And we also find, people from the East, the Far East, they find Dubai to be a better place to settle. It's also because of the culture and values that are upheld. Both the Islamic values and the values that Dubai upholds. And this just makes it makes it very comfortable for people, especially from our part of the world, where for us culture is very important. Being protected and taken care of, very important. Value systems are very important. It's a great place. Great place.
I agree. Yeah. I never have to worry about Ariana taking a taxi at late in the night.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, even we sleep with the door open.
Oh, yeah, Dubai.
And you get up in the morning and, we didn't lock this.
Yeah. Can't be concerned. Yeah, that's how Dubai is. Gitti, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you. I hope this trip to Damac has been fruitful, and I know you have a lot of other engagements as well.
Govind, I really appreciate
Pleasure's
the support. You promised support and you have given the support.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks, Govind.
Appreciate
Thank you so much.
Pleasure, madam. Anytime. So, folks, that's perhaps the end of today's session. You heard from Gitti. You saw the excitement and passion about how they would like to represent Damac and Dubai in Kenya. It's a phenomenal market, as you mentioned, and there is no better learning that could come out of today's podcast than this, that we now have new synergy being built between Pam Golding and Damac from Dubai. We also saw how Dubai is such a smart city, such a gracious city. In fact, it's a massive blessing for expatriates like yourself and me, maybe people who are tuning in from different parts of the world, to know that there is no greater place on earth than Dubai, which actually is the best of all worlds together, right? And we also saw the power of leadership and how this city and this country has panned out to become a city of choice and a country of choice. It is a compelling city. It is a city which promises and delivers on its promises, whether it's infrastructure, whether it is going beyond, way and beyond what has already been spoken about. Dubai does it all. We looked at the economy. We didn't get into shreds, but we got into a certain depth of the economy, understood how the economy performs. We looked at real estate more specifically as well. Let's put our cap on for Dubai. Let's continue to cheer on, root for Dubai to the rest of the world. So thank you very much, folks, for joining us today. That's the end of the session. But before you leave, please do make it a point to subscribe our channel, hit that bell icon right there, and be a part of the show and be a part of this ecosystem. Thank you very much for joining us at Realty Podcast today. I'll see you later.